My name is Josh, and I'm the West Coast Regional VP here at Torus. Before we take a look at the nuts and bolts of the solution, let's spend some time and go through some of the overview values of Torus.
Torus has been designed to reduce as much administration time and burden as possible. And I want to explain exactly how we do that. So when we were designing Torus, we looked at several different factors of how do we make this as easy to use, reduce as much administration time and burden, but still maintain high amounts of security around your keys. The first thing we looked at is how is our solution going to be installed by the facility? How is it going to be upgraded? How are we going to be able to grow and expand into that? It absolutely had to be so easy to use because we want high adoption across your facility and across your users of keys at your facility. Not only does it need to be easy for users to use, to come, remove a key, bring it back, use it on a daily basis, but also it has to be extremely easy to manage. We have to provide remote key control capability, and that's specifically for administrators to manage their keys in their boxes and their cabinets 100% remotely without ever having to come out on site. Without this, our solution would not be considered to be a true enterprise solution. Our solution is smart, and we're providing SMS and email-based alerts to both administrators and to users. There's so many things that our solution can message on and our administrators can get alerted on, and it's fully customizable. Our solution had to be certified under several security parameters. Not only is the hardware completely robust, but the software is designed to be placed into high levels of secure network environments. We had to design a solution that's not only modern today, but it's going to last into the next 10 years plus. And lastly, we wanted to design a solution that's completely and effortlessly scalable from your facility. So whether you're starting with 1 or 5 or many, you can add to that, you can move them around, you can use them with different technologies. We wanted it to be completely adaptable to how your facility wants to be managing their keys.
Next, let's take a look at the actual physical cabinet itself.
Now, Torus is not just a hardware solution that gets easily mounted to the wall to house and secure your keys and to be a convenience for users to come by and extract the keys that they have access to. It also combines our highly sought after software. Now, our software combined with our hardware solution, that is the Torus experience, and that's the Torus solution in helping you to manage your keys easily.
We understand that installation can sometimes be difficult. That is absolutely not the case with Torus. It is incredibly easy. Let me show you.
So starting off, taking a look at how easy the cabinet is to install, we designed a mounting bracket that mounts flush to the back of our cabinet, and our cabinet gets hung on the wall just like you would hang a flat screen display on the wall. Extremely easy to do so. But it didn't stop there. One of the major benefits is that there is zero software to install, no server space, and no database to manage on the network. Now, this truly is how easy our cabinet is installed, not only on the wall easily, but it connects into our Microsoft Azure cloud system automatically just by plugging it into the network and inputting in the provisioning key that we provide you. On top of that, we are the only cabinet in the world that can be powered over PoE or power over Ethernet, again, providing even a more simplified way to install our cabinets within your facility. You do not need to relocate power. You don't need to have power high voltage brought to the cabinet. You can use a single cable to power and provide network connection right to the cabinet.
Torus is more than just a high security key cabinet. Let's take a look at the software that's such a big part of what allows you to manage your keys so easily.
So right away, we have some bright colors that help me to see as an administrator exactly what's going on with my keys. It's important to note without clicking on any buttons. So once I sign in, I get navigated to the dashboard. I can see about 90%, 95% of what I ever want to know. How many keys are out of my cabinets? How many are in? Are there any overdue if they've not been brought back on time? And are there any alarms that I need to address? And clicking into any one of these will help me get into more data. So if I click into some of the history on the keys that are out and returns, or navigate to reports, we provide a visual-based report, not Excel spreadsheet, not just a bunch of numbers, but we get to visually see exactly what's going on with my cabinet and with my keys across an entire enterprise, across multiple campuses, or if I just have one. This data is crucial for understanding how my keys are being used within my facility, and I don't have to remember or know or keep track of or have people write down on sheets of paper what's going on and where my keys are at. The system is going to work on your behalf to keep track and monitor that. Let's take a look at what some of the alarms might look like. So with the alarms and alerts, those are going to be stored and delivered to me here on this dashboard, but I can also subscribe to getting a text or an email-based alert if something occurs that I want to be notified immediately about. In this case, this could be considered a lower level alarm or alert, and it's telling me that there's a specific key assigned to a vehicle, and this key has not been brought back in time. We assigned a time-based alert to that, and it's just telling me that it wasn't brought back on time. Let's take a quick look at how keys are accessed and how they're provided to users. So from the software, an administrator would give access to a specific user to specific keys. Once that user has access to those keys, they're then going to approach the cabinet and enter in their credentials. They're going to open up the cabinet door, and the green lights behind each key position will signal to the user that they have access to those keys and those keys only. They can then remove those. They cannot physically remove the keys that they do not have access to. So the cabinet in this case is acting on your behalf to only hand keys out to folks who have authorization to do so, and locking and securing the ones that they do not have access to. We have fully automated the management of users. And so when a new user gets added, a user ID and PIN is automatically sent to them, sent to their cell phone via text and their inbox via email. Now that's important because you no longer have to send that information to them directly. You don't have to write them an email. You don't have to send them those credentials. It's automatically sent to them. And when they approach the cabinet, they can instantly use those credentials. And because of the power of the cloud, that information is automatically sent to them within seconds. The user can also enroll their own card. So if you're using an additional credential in order to access the cabinet, if you're using an access control bio card and that user does have one, they will be asked and requested to enroll that card for the very first time when they go and utilize the cabinet for the first time. The administrator is not involved in any of this, and this is how we're helping to reduce the administration burden on your team and your facilities in managing the many users you have using keys. Now, if the user forgets their user ID or PIN, this is another crucial point where administrators would have to be heavily involved in managing users. We want to remove that away. The user would approach the cabinet, select that they forgot their user ID or PIN. If they are an authorized user and they have their credentials, the cabinet's going to request that, and they're automatically going to get sent a new PIN and their user ID so that they can log into the cabinet without ever having to bother the administrator. So this comes into play, especially with overnight crews or large amounts of users with a low amount of administrators managing the personnel. That's a major benefit there. Our system will automatically update the user when access is changed on their behalf. So when the administrator provides access level changes, the user automatically gets notified of what those changes are. If a user gets access to a new cabinet or loses access to a cabinet or keys, they will instantly get notified so that they know they can approach that new cabinet, and now they have access to all the keys where maybe before they only had access to a few. They will be notified of that change automatically. Let's take a look at the text, SMS, and email alert system. So the cabinet in the software, the Torus solution, is managing hundreds of events at any given time. The cabinet itself, who's entering that, the cabinet's in a group or in a full configuration, the software, who has access to that, what's being done within the software, and the individual keys themselves. Information and alerts can be viewed in the dashboard. It can be viewed in reports. It will be sent via email, and it will be sent via SMS to administration and to users themselves. There's something additional that we've added to our system called an escalation. This escalation will be used in where an administrator does not want to be notified on minor-based alarms, but if these alarms are not addressed within a timely manner, then an escalation would go out. This gets used often with facilities that have their own security team, their own security staff, or maybe their own police department, or when higher level security administrators want to be notified when something isn't occurring that they would like to see. So for example, a key is not brought back in time. They may not get notified right away or choose to, but if it's not addressed within an hour, then that might be escalated, and an escalation alarm would be sent out.
Torus can completely scale with your business. Let's take a look at how we can help provide that.
Now, our solution is uniquely scalable because of the power of the cloud and our infrastructure that we've designed and built. Torus cabinets can be grouped together. And the purpose of these groupings is so that you can have cabinets throughout the country, in different parts of the state, or in different buildings, or even across a campus. And these cabinets can be managed either all together within a group environment, or the management and use of these cabinets can be separated out into different segments, allowing administrators to be in different facilities in different areas, or different administrators having local access to only manage one, a few, or some of the entirety of the solution, but still allowing higher level administration access to manage absolutely everything. Now, across multiple cabinets, you can integrate multiple different technologies into each one of these, and I'll go into more detail on how to integrate these in a different slide.
Next, let's take a look at all the various options and features that you can use to tailor this solution specifically to your business.
Let's take another quick look at exactly how this works. So when a user approaches the cabinet, and logs in, they have several different options. The door will open and green lights will be lit on exactly what keys they have access to. So there's the cabinet on the wall. The user needs to approach it, and then what keys they have access to. That user will simply remove those keys, shut the door and secure it, and go about and do their work now with keys. And within the software, the administration can have live up to the minute access on exactly what's going on, from drilled down to the user level. They can take a look at the hardware, and they can quickly and immediately evaluate how many keys are out at any given time. Let's take a look at some of the features that this cabinet has built into it. We're going to start off with something called multi-custody. Multi-custody requires multiple authorized users to log into the cabinet before removing a single key. Now, this comes into play within facilities in where we have something a little bit more higher risk, or something that needs to be secured a little bit more. And that key bundle, or that key bunch that is attached and locked in place, needs to have an additional user be a witness, and they need to have 2 or more people understand that that key is now being removed and is in custody in someone else's hands. A key group speaks about a grouping of keys within the cabinet, and that our software is managing, that has different levels or layers of access privileges placed on only these keys within this group. This would come into play maybe where you have a group of specific management items, and where I can only take one out at a time. And so within this grouping, I may have access to every single one of them, but once I make my first selection, it's going to lock me out of all of them. That would be an example of that. We can assign a key timer to every single specific key that's locked away inside of the cabinet, meaning that they can all be different, they can all be selectable. And what this does is it will require me to bring that key back within a certain time frame. And if I don't, it's going to alert myself. I'm going to get a notification saying that I have not returned it. It's due, but it will also alert administration staff if they select to be alerted if I have not returned it back within that allotted time frame. We also have a different time-based alerting mechanism, or a security parameter, and that's called a shift window. So for example, I may not be able to access the keys before a specific time in the day, so before 6 a.m., and I won't be able to access the cabinet after 8 p.m. If I still have my keys with me after 8 p.m., I can open the cabinet, but I will not be able to remove any keys that I would have access to. I would only be able to return the key that I still have in my possession.
Torus can virtually integrate with just about anything. Let me show you how.
So 100% natively, Torus can integrate with just about every single access control system that you can think of. This is just a sample of what we can integrate with. On top of that, we can also integrate into something called Azure Active Directory. And so if you are using Windows-based solutions on your facility, we can integrate with Active Directory so that when an individual is either added to your company or removed, they can instantly be granted access to keys, or their access can be instantly removed just by simply having Active Directory integrated into our solution. Or we can integrate to your already in place access control system. And if you don't have an access control system, don't worry, we don't need that to work. This is a value add that we natively integrate with these solutions. Let's take a look at exactly how that might be done. So whatever access control system you decide to use, we can integrate into that. And so you may already have users with badges and cards already. That information will automatically be ported into our solution and our entire system. You would place a card reader onto our cabinet system, and right away we're going to know who has access to what keys after that gets set up. And we're going to send back events, alarms, and transactional information back into the access control system so that not two different pieces of software have to be managed. Your access control managers can manage the access into the keys by simply aligning the individuals into specific groups that have access to keys. On top of that, you can still get alerts and alarms right from Torus on top of still being managed by an access control system.
Thank you for watching this video. I truly hope it helped. We are really looking forward to partnering with you, and we hope to hear from you soon.